Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. May Jesus Christ bless you on what we Aussies know as a Boxing Day. I'm not going to make this too long. It has been a while. We've been up to many things and life is what it is. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation right about now about what's to come. And I'm going to give you my microverse rendition of what's going to happen in a macrocosmic way soon enough. All right. There are a number of us people of God that have been doing God's work, and these things are marathons, and it's not about who does it the fastest. It's just about enduring to the end. And with the enduring, like these are marathons, and day after day after day, you just, even when you're 2 to 3 days out, Sunday that just went, because I wanted to try and pull this in by the 24th because I've got other things to do. I wanted to finish up. Sunday I did 13 hours straight. And that was just so I could get a clean run, because my final day, which I did Tuesday, I pulled that in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This had been going on for months as well. Now, with this, you know, when you've got a project at hand, and it is a marathon and it's not easy, your tolerances and your leniences, look, you allow things to sway. So let's take this from like a parental standpoint, but not even pets, but people as well. When you're out of the pump, because you were trying to get to the finish line of something so that you can move on from it, you will become lenient in allowances. You'll let things go by the wayside. You'll let it fly by, because you just don't have the time and you're a little bit too tired to have to deal with it until what you've done is complete, right? So God's doing a work in the world at the moment, and God's work is through people like myself, and I could definitely say it's not just me that's doing this work, but the people of God are bringing a work into completion. Sorry for the wind. Didn't expect it to pick up the way that it has. And this work that we are bringing into completion, I've just brought mine into completion. It's like climbing a mountain. And for me, it's all downhill from here. And with it being downhill, it's nothing but cream for the next 12 months. I already know what I'll be doing this time next year. It's like I climbed this mountain to set things up pretty much indefinitely, and unless I choose to go in another direction, the path's set out. Now, this work that we are doing, though, which is what is important about the conversation that we're having right now, is I know it's not just me that would have allowed things to be a little bit lenient, because I'm going to go this way, give the dogs a swim. You get tired, and I got super tired, and I got a really bad spiritual attack the other day, and it went on for a couple of days, and honestly, I was literally at the end of myself. I was like, is this it? It was pretty shocking, and it brought me to my knees of God, you know, new devil, but it brought me to my knees of God to get a deeper level of understanding and trust, and pretty violating what happened. It was because I just brought this task that I've been doing into completion. But this is the problem. As you get tired, people's and animals' bullshit ramps up. And it's this ramping up bullshit that's the topic to our conversation right now. So, in the last week alone, I've had a few things come to the surface that are going to have to be dealt with pretty strictly over the coming month. I don't want to get into people. That's something to talk about on a later date. I just want to talk about pets for now, because I think pets for myself is a prime example of, like I'm not here to talk about things in like a downtreading, belittling manner. No, it's not that. This is like, we're about to let the lion free. I'm ultimately going to get towards what you would call like New Year's resolutions, right? That's kind of the point to this. Now, over the past few months, I'll talk about my cats, the beloved things. Through no fault of my own, amongst other things, they have become they live to eat instead of eat to live. I think that's the best explanation that I can give you here. And I only really, like here it is, when you've been head down, ass up, nose to the grind, hand to the plough, and there's just things you don't see. Like, you don't see the dust accumulating on the top of the toilet, or you don't see there's a bit of extra grease or something around the cooktop, or there's a blind eye that you've got. There's things that you don't see. It's not until you step back from having your hand to the plough and you look around and you're like, geez, like, things are probably functioning at about 60% of what they could be, because you were flat out getting things done. All right? So one of these things I stood back to have a look at is cat food. And I've got, without knowing it, 6 or 8 dozen tins sitting there on the cat feed table outside, and those tins are the collection of, ultimately a day's end, I've gone through all the decent brands and all the good flavours, and we've got to the point where these cats, they've turned their nose up at everything, right? So they won't eat tin food anymore. And I've got to move. Got a bloody magpie here too, and it's got its babies, and this one strikes home. Now, take a seat, see if that'll help with the wind. So, these precious cats have turned their nose up at the tin food. And yeah, biscuits, I don't know about cheap biscuits. Whiskers isn't good enough, so they've had Royal Canin, and they've had Advance, and all the good quality biscuits. And when it comes to sachets, no meal has been missed. But anyway, this journey that I've been on with these cats is just one of, like, at what point do they turn their nose up at what comes next? And last night it struck me, I just can't believe it. I ended up buying sachets. Don't you shake on me. I ended up buying sachets. Yeah, he's going to shake because he's just had a swim. Anyway, so, you reckon, bud? I bought cat food that had crab meat in it, of all things. You know what I mean? Like, how far do we go here? And, fucking crab meat, like, what next, lobster? Anyway, it's actually called Gourmet Delights. I mean, they're eating the best of the best gourmet food that there is. These animals just had a duck land. These animals, he's beautiful because he just never complains. My journey with them has been one of, not from grace to grace, from entitlement to entitlement. And we got to the point last night where it wasn't the crab meat that did it. With my fat cat, he's a greedy little bugger. If he ain't licking gravy, it ain't food anymore. You know what I mean? And then last night, it all came on pretty heavily for me where I put food out for... I've got 3 cats, but I've got 2 males, and it's the males that are my issue here. I put one of these gourmet meals down for one of the males, and he didn't want to eat it. And whilst I was in eating my dinner, he was in there annoying me, rubbing up and down my legs, and he wouldn't stop meowing whilst I was sitting down, trying to just sit and enjoy and eat my dinner. And it just got me to the point where I was like, no, leave me alone, get outside, I don't want you here, right? And then about half an hour later, this is where it just all struck me. My greedy fat cat, my white cat, the one that's the shocker here, he came in and, I was like, well, you're here, I'll give you your sachet. They just get a sachet a day each type of thing. Anyway, put the sachet down for him because he wouldn't stop whinging whilst I was eating. I'm sitting down, eating dinner, and he comes and sits in front of us and then just gets ready to start spewing the food on the ground. And yeah, he's just like last straw. So for me, that was my last straw with these cats. They're on dry food for the next month. Oh, here we go. And these two here, they go on dry food every now and then as well. So it just turns out that dry food to an animal turns them soft. And when they get, wet food for an animal turns them soft. And when they get too much wet food, they become entitled. And anyway, my cats have become that spoiled rotten that they've turned completely useless. And last night, so the thing is, they'll whinge and complain and bicker, and they wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and no more wet food. So that no more wet food, as we've brought things to the synoptic crux of where I wanted to get to in regards to this conversation in general, I reckon that's what God's just about to do for the planet. And so that no more wet food for me, whilst I was that just sums it up. No more wet food. Whilst I've been trying to get this task complete, there's no more making excuses for any human being anymore for their behaviour or for their talk. If someone's belittling towards you, it's deliberate. It is what it is. There's no more excuses for it. If they can't be respectful and speak to you properly, that's deliberate. But what it comes down to is just, be it human, dog, cat, or anything else, just too much technology and too much wet food. And I think God's just about to going to dry the planet out and kill the technology off. I think, in a nutshell, too much technology, too much wet food. Spoiled, rotten, became absolutely useless. And I'm serious, useless. So I'm going to watch my cats transform over the next month as they go cold turkey. We've got cold turkey coming. You like that? Instead of cooking a turkey in the oven, cold turkey has come. There ain't nothing else that's being cut off. And abused privileges. They've eaten the good of the land of living for too long, but not returned anything for it. Became entitled, and be it cat, human, or anything else, full of ridicule, belittlement, disrespect, just bad heart, hardened hearts, hard heads, hardened hearts. Be that cat and dog, animal, pet, whatever else. I have this problem with my livestock as well, and if I don't work them for a few months, they need to be whipped into shape, and it's frustrating, but I thank God for that moment, because usually when I have frustrating cattle, I've been frustrated for a few months beforehand, so it's a time to yell it out. And whipping cows into gear, like getting them in line, like they are better animals for it and they work properly, but you got to get them in line. And it's frustrating at the time, but afterwards you feel a lot better because you get the shit off your chest. So stock work, get stuff off your chest. It's good. But back to humans and pets and whatever else. Yeah, I think cold turkey is going to be the motto from God for 2025. And he's chosen the anointed ones. We are going to rejoice in the cold turkey. See, I took 3 months off the gym. And the one thing I know about, in person, I haven't met one single person yet that hasn't been useless to me. And it's a shame. Why? Because when I say this here, it's not the person's fault, but because people don't have Jesus Christ in them, they're skinwalkers. And they just end up with a demon in them, and then you end up getting attacked by the demon, and then you just got to cut them off. But with that common denominator, with this childish, entitled behaviour, I know that not one individual that I've come across would cope with a 15-minute session in my gym if I was to invite them in to see if they could survive. I know that through the works of an individual's own hands, just by my guidance and directions, I could get them to use their own hands to give them a heart attack, because they wouldn't be able to cope with the train you would throw them underneath. Not that you would want to do that, but that train that you would throw them underneath, because we're getting back to the people of God rejoicing in the cold turkey, that train is the one we ride. We ride that freight train day after day, and when we get into the gym, that's how we go. That's how we roll. The people of God, God's chosen, we are not here to be messed with. You can have all the disrespect and bad attitude and nose down looking and act like a bully and belittle others and do all the rest of it, but you're not riding the same freight train that we ride. We know nothing but hardship, and when it comes down to it, when we're talking about pure divine masculine and divine feminine standing as men and women, as God's people, we know when tough love needs to come and serve its purpose, right? And maybe it's like the plagues of Egypt. It was for someone else, but they had to watch it and they endured it whilst it was for someone else. But, like, even though you've got to endure something, if you know that it's for someone else, you will stand firm knowing that it's going to help them. God's about to dose out some pretty heavy-duty tough love, and we are prepared. And there's not really much other than if God was to call us home himself that we couldn't endure. I know in my world, though, that too much technology, too much wet food, be that pet or human, as of New Year's for me, like you talk like resolutions, don't worry about the New Year's resolution, but I will be getting back into the gym as of New Year. And I like the fact that, because I'm a personal trainer, you go through your own protocol and processes to get to the point where you are once again completely sturdy. I took 3 months off because I'd been at it for years. I mean, we're not 75, 80 kilo people anymore, 125 kilos, you know what I mean? And that 3 months that I took off, I've recovered, I've rested, I actually look bigger than I've ever looked, and feel stronger than I've ever felt. And I've had the reset button pressed, and when I get back in there, it's just onwards and upwards still. Like you're just climbing mountains. So whilst everyone is looking for the hill to roll down like a snowball and get that effect, we enjoy climbing mountains. We're mountain climbers. And when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Next year's going to be tough, 2025. And I think too much technology, too much wet food, in the same way that there's cold turkey being dosed out for my pets, It's going to be dry food for the next month. And yeah, like the game of Snakes and Ladders, they're at 97, 98. They're back down at 2 or 3 now. No more gourmet food, they're going to have to earn tuna. And I think that's what's going to happen with humans too. Take that for what it is. Isn't it? Just is what it is, but it's God. It's just, yeah, we're talking in the manner where you will have individuals that do bully and belittle and criticize and ridicule. They're just abusive humans. They will believe that they're throwing tough love at you, but like, no, God knows tough love. And we have been waiting for this moment. People of God have been waiting for cold turkey, no technology to come. It's going to be a dry, brutal for those who can't cope with it. Yeah, it's just the kids that fight over the phone and the father throws the phone down the toilet. It's going to feel beautiful. It works in a way. I like growing crops and then seeing those that want to eat it and then just harvest the crop and just mow it. Eat that. Just is what it is, you know what I mean? The privilege has been abused and there is no more privilege left. And God's in charge of all, and God's about to hand out righteous, tough love. And it is what it is. And it's going to be a storm and we're all going to have to weather it. But as others hurt, we will rejoice because we know that this was coming. And we won't go through anywhere near as much hardship as others, but it won't affect us in the way that it may others, because our mindset and our way of being and the fact that we are not of our own, we serve the Maker, our Heavenly Father. Like the whole one man's trash is another man's treasure. We'll be walking around seeing a gold mine everywhere whilst everyone else is looking at it like it's trash. We can see the greater purpose for it. God's ways are not our ways, but like what I do know is cold turkey is everyone's ways when they get too entitled. There we go. Get ready for 2025. She's going to be pretty dry. God bless you. Have a good day. Bye for now.